Well, thank you for joining with another noon devotional. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving Day. So all of next week we'll be thinking more about Thanksgiving than we do probably any other time of the year. But you know, this whole idea of Thanksgiving, this whole idea of gratitude, I want to talk today a little bit about that. In fact, if I had to give a title to my talk today, it would be The Rarity of Gratitude. Actually, gratitude is not only rare, it has almost become extinct. It's very sad. I was raised to always thank people if they did something for me, or if they helped me in some way, or if they were kind to me in some way. And that's stuck with me all of my life. I need to work and even do better, but I try to write notes and thank people that I feel like I should write notes and thank. And then, of course, many times people have helped all of us in some ways. There's no way to really pay them back. We're not trying to pay them back, but we're trying to say to them, we just thank you for what you've done for us. Maybe a school teacher, maybe a doctor, a surgeon, or just a multitude of people out there that in all of our lives have helped us. And this whole idea of just saying thank you. And of course the Bible is really very clear about the fact that we are to be thankful, and we are to be grateful people, thankful people, or happy people. And there's probably no story in all the Bible that shows ingratitude more than the story we read in Luke chapter 17, Jesus healing those 10 lepers. It's interesting. That's a very fascinating story. Like, Jesus healed 10 lepers, and of course you know the story. 9 never did even think about coming back and saying thank you to Jesus, but 1 did. And that's when Jesus asked that famous question, well, weren't there 10? Where are the other 9? Well, the other 9 had gotten what they wanted, and they had kind of forgotten to say thank you. And you know, that's the way it is oftentimes. Once we get what we want, whether it's an answered prayer or whatever it may be, when we get it, we just kind of move on and forget what we have promised. It's interesting when you read that story. The one that came back and thanked Jesus was a Samaritan. And the other 9 obviously were Jews, because Jesus told them to go to the priest and show the priest he had been healed. And of course, only when they made their first step going toward the priest were they healed. They were healed when they obeyed. That'd be another good sermon thought, another good devotional thought. But if you stop and think a moment, here are 9 Jewish people and 1 Samaritan. And of course the Jews and the Samaritans, the Jews had nothing to do with Samaritans. They looked on them as just really almost the scum of the earth. And they had reasons for doing that. They weren't right, but they had, in their mind, they were right. But you talk about prejudice. The Jewish people, the Samaritans, Jews had nothing to do with Samaritans. But read that story, and you notice that even though there were 9 Jews and 1 Samaritan, before they were healed, before Jesus came along, they were like in a group together. They had to be somewhat isolated from people that did not have leprosy. And if the wind was blowing behind a person that had leprosy, they had to be isolated about 50 yards. That's half of a football field. You talk about isolation. Like, we're encouraged to be 6 feet apart during this COVID-19. You know, social distancing, 6 feet. Well, you feel almost isolated from people. You're behind a mask, 6 feet apart. Can you imagine 50 yards apart? Well, the point is, until they were healed, all 10 of these men had leprosy, and 1 a Samaritan, 9 a Jew. But the Jew-Samaritan situation seemed to have no bearing whatsoever. They were joined together in community. Their nationality put aside. It did not matter. You know, that's one of the common rules of life. When people have needs in common, or if people have a need in common, they come together in community, and they form a bond. You see this in support groups. Like there may be a cancer support group, and in that support group, the bond is everybody in the group is dealing with either having had cancer or they now have cancer and they're going through things. Some may be wealthy, some not, some may be very educated, some not, doesn't matter. In our support group at the church on Tuesday and Thursday nights, I mean, that group, they bond together in community because they have a common need. The truth of the matter is, individually, they're very, very much different one from the other, many of them. But when they come together in this common need, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, I want to encourage you as we think about next Thursday being Thanksgiving, let's work at being better at expressing gratitude to people for things they've done to help us. Just a thank you. I appreciate you. I sent a text yesterday to a person that has been a blessing to me for almost 31 years here, and just said, you know, you have blessed my family, you've blessed my life, you've been a blessing to the church, and I just need to say thank you. And I did. They responded back. Well, I don't do enough of that. I need to do more. And then to God. You know, one of the things that should bond us and make all of us, humankind, a community, is we all have one same need that is common. We need forgiveness of our sins, and we need God. And that would cure all the divisions in our land if everyone would say, you know, some are Republicans, some are Democrats, some are this, some are that, and some are more wealthy than others, some more education than others. But hey, we have this one common need. We're all sinners. And we have God who has given us Jesus in his shed blood to pay our sin debt. Every day, the rest of this week, all next week, more than normal, thank God for your salvation. Thank God for what he did to take care of your sin issue. And then ask God to put people on your mind that you just need to, in whatever way you feel led, say thank you to them. I tell you what, they'll have a better Thanksgiving. Better than that, so will you. There's something really good about saying to people, thank you. Well, I thank you for watching today. Have a great rest of this day, a good weekend, and get ready for what I hope will be a good Thanksgiving for you and your family.